This meeting is being held in accordance with the Open Public Meetings Act, and adequate notice of this meeting has been provided as required by law. Certain portions of it may be closed to the public for the purpose of personnel and/or other matters as outlined in the Sunshine Law. Decisions made and/or discussed in closed session will be made known to the public at a later date. All contracts awarded by mayor and council must comply with the affirmative action requirements of PL 1975 C127 NJAC 1727. Fire exits are located in the direction I am indicating. In case of fire, you will be notified by me. If you are alerted for fire, please move in a calm, orderly manner to the nearest smoke-free exit. Okay.
Roll call. Councilwoman Story?
Here.
Councilman Kelly should be here shortly. Councilman Miola?
Here.
Councilman Petrosky?
Here.
Councilman Templeton?
Here.
And Mayor Hoganson.
Here.
5 present.
Who's vibrating? Okay. Kick it off?
We're going, start off the meeting by going into close for potential litigation with the first aid squad.
This time, ladies, oh, you gotta read your,
Take a motion to go into close.
Somebody like to make a motion to go into close?
I'll make a motion to go into closed session. Second. All in favor?
All in favor?
Aye. We are in closed session.
That's the resolution.
Oh, I'm sorry. Whereas the mayor and council of the Borough of Roselle Park wish to discuss matters which are described in New Jersey Open Public Meetings Act, Sunshine Law, NJSA 10-4-12, and whereas the general nature of the subjects to be discussed in closed session are possible litigation with the first aid squad, whereas the time when and the circumstances under which the items discussed in closed session will be disclosed to the public at a future time. Now, therefore, be it resolved that the mayor and council of the Borough of Roselle Park adjourn the open portion of the meeting and open a closed portion of the meeting to discuss the above items.
I agree. We're back in the open. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for being patient. So, thank you. Okay.
All right, we're back in open session. Henry, would you like to
Yes,
discuss 2015 council?
basically, the package you have before you, I summarized 2015 to how we used to previously get. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I just saw,
Yeah,
All
just,
right, sorry.
he's
What?
All
being,
right, what do we have to say? Discussed and closed?
right, no action taken.
Ladies and gentlemen, we discussed possible litigation with the Roselle Park First Aid Squad. At this time, it's ongoing, and at this time, nothing was resolved. It's ongoing. We are still dissecting.
We're now shifting our first meetings with Capital. We were focusing on the 5-year plan. It's now time to narrow down and just discuss 2015. So what I have set up for you is sheets 1 through 6 is how we would normally get our plans from previous years. It's breaking down each department, what they're looking for, and it's time to start hashing out capital. Originally, I thought this was going to be our last capital meeting to make decisions. However, if everybody recalls, at the last meeting, there was a new program out by the county for grants. We applied for 4 programs, 3 of which are on this year's capital, and a 4th, which would be the last phase of Alvin Park. So,
We should, hopefully, not that I want to step on your toes, hopefully we should be hearing that by the end of the month. Because the county, in the grant application, says once it's approved, you got till the end of the year to spend it. So,
so the end of this month? I thought it was by the end of June. then.
well, it's
So,
end of June, whatever. Within the next 6 weeks, we should have an answer. And once we get the answer, then we have up to 6 months to spend it. Give me 6 minutes. I got a little laugh at me, somebody, come on.
So that's what you have before you. We are currently at, if you go to page 5, the grand total showing right now is $2,359,850. We have a DOT grant for $190,000, a CDBG grant for $175,000, Union County Kids Recreation Trust Fund grant for $59,952.50, and based on what's currently set up here, we would be using $119,897.50 from the Capital Improvement Fund money. This is required down payments of 5%. It comes out to a little bit more than 5% the way I have it calculated for rounding purposes for debt. We would be, if this was to stay exactly the way it is, it would be issuing debt of $1,815,000. Our current pay down of debt in this year's budget for current fund is $1,420,000. So we are basically increasing debt by $395,000, looking at this exactly the way it is. What we try to strive for is at least coming in at or under what we're currently paying, so we don't increase our debt. So that would mean we would need to cut out of this $395,000 to come in is equal to the debt we're paying down this year. Some of the departments, as you look at it, are just single items, so it's not like it can be shaved down. It's either yay or nay. So my suggestion would be is I can run down the list if you want to go through everything. Do you want to start hashing things out now? Do you want to digest it? Because I know when we put the whole 5-year plan together, it was a lot to digest because it was all 5 years and looking at it, but now it's time to just dissect 2015. So, if you want, I'll run through the list.
Yeah, would you please?
So Public Works, for 2015, obviously we already know that, is looking for a roll-off container truck at $210,000. The First Aid Squad is looking at radios for $6,500. The Police Department is looking for email server encryption account for police emails, rubber tile flooring for dispatch center, and bulletproof entry doors and awning for rear door, totaling $45,000. OEM is looking for a prefabricated 2-bay garage for $75,000. The Fire Department is looking for $475,350. They're looking for 10 Scott SCB air bottles.
All right, we got the, we got,
Yeah, the gist of that.
yeah, we got all 25 items, okay? We got the gist.
Buildings and grounds, we're looking for a general account that we've had in previous years for improvements to buildings and grounds. The library grounds to get that completed for $25,000. And defibrillators to be put in Borough Hall, the Police Department, the Casino Center, the Library, and Public Works for $10,000, totaling $85,000 for that. Clerk's office is going to continue to archive their records, looking for $5,000. Year 4 for co-affordable housing, one more year to go, $200,000. All departments throughout the borough for computer equipment. Library's looking for a new timing system, 15 new computers, 2 children's specialty computers, 4 new printers, new furniture for the meeting room and adult public areas, silent alarm reinstallation. Total of $33,000. Listed under engineering is our roads and other infrastructure items. So we have West Colfax Avenue Phase 2 from Pine Street to Locust Street. That would be a DOT of $190,000. Total, including the grant, is $325,000. Seaton Avenue from Route 28 to Fayette Avenue, we have a CDBG grant for $175,000. Total project looking at $225,000. Madison Avenue from Sherman Avenue towards Pershing Avenue, $45,000. Charles Street from Chestnut Street to Walnut Street. Monies were set aside last year, and we need to add to that $180,000. Chestnut Street crosswalk replacement. That's all the decorative ones that we tried out that didn't work, $55,000. Source study for the Galloping Hill Road project is $200,000. Improvements to Aldine Park, Phase 4, I believe it is, for the Union County, we have a Union County Kids Recreation Trust Fund grant for $59,952.50. Total project estimated at $175,000. Total engineering is looking at $1,205,000, where that comes to the grand total of $2,359,850. And what I have back here for everybody on the other sheets, sheet 6 is the list of the streets that we'll start out with next year in the order that they were given. Then I have each of the 5-year plans. If there was a revision based on the first meeting we had, that is on top. Then it would be, so in other words, sheet 7 is the Public Works 5-year capital plan revision number 1. Behind that on sheet 8 was the original plan. And then sheet 9 for Public Works is showing what they had from 2009 to 2014. And then it goes through for each respective department, so you have the whole package for your review. Like I said, I don't know if you want to start ticking off items now, or do you want to sit down, take it home, digest it all, and then when we get the word, if we get any type of grants from the county for those 4 projects that we have in here, that could free up money you might not want to use for the department, or we can just reduce the debt and go from there. So you guide me where you want to move with.
All right. First question is, in some of these cases, are we going to want to bring back in the,
Well, that's the other option too. You want to bring in any other departments again?
I think we should start with the fire department. So right now, as it stands, first draft, $475,350. Whereas the last 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 from 09 to 2014, it's a substantial jump. I don't want to state any numbers just because I don't want to be off, but some years it was close to well over 200, close to $300,000 increase off what they usually are allocated to operate efficiently every year. So I think that would be a good place to start. As to what they currently are asking for, that's a priority. I'm not positive. I know they have another 10 general items that they always ask for every year, so as far as that, I'm not positive. But I think that would be a nice chunk to start with.
I think that this is the case because there are so many items where we might want to bring them back in again.
Well, in the past, what we have done, we have given them a set amount and let them choose out of the line items.
Well, we did eliminate some things, so that's something you should consider.
What?
Like in the past, we went through,
Yeah, in the past, you know, looking
Like
at the past,
we've-
it's not that we
we've
gave them
taken off
everything they
the-
wanted,
One
that's
at a
what they
time,
asked for.
one at a time.
We
Right.
cut a lot.
I couldn't hear what was
are
going
you
on.
yelling at me?
No, shut, don't dump from the peanut gallery. It ain't open yet.
I'm sorry, go ahead.
I'm sorry, I lost my train of thought. Yeah, I'm back
Well,
on.
I was just starting to say with the fire department, what we've done in the past is took some big ticket items and said, it's just not gonna happen this year, it's just not feasible.
Yeah, yeah, we have, when you look at the past figures, it's not that that's all they asked for, it's that that's what we gave them. For instance, the washer and dryer for the turnout gear, I know has been on at least the last couple of years, if not longer. You know, there are things that they have been asking for, that we just, you know, again, as the mayor said, we gave them a certain amount and said, you know,
Well, I mean, if
you
you,
choose what you feel are the most important up to this amount, and you're not getting any more money than that.
Right. That's what we've done the 6 years that I've been on council.
well, here's your big ticket items right off. You got the chief vehicle, of which he added one on at the last meeting, plus budgeting for 1 through the 5-year plan. You got the overhaul upgrade to the radio system due to FCC regulations at $70,000. Then if you look down towards the bottom, you got replacement of engine 3, starting in a 5-year phase for $160,000. And an addition for Station 3 for the engine of $70,000. That's built in what they've requested through their 5-year plan. So, right there, you're looking at what, $330,000. So,
Well, do we want to have them back in? No?
You're the fire commissioner, you're the council, get everybody
All
here,
right.
take a poll.
What's the
take
feeling,
everybody
council?
know.
Do you want to have them back in to go over these items simply because there are so many?
I mean, as has been stated, there, we did do,
Well,
direct flat amounts with them. If you
Why
look
have
at
they done in the
sheet,
past?
can I
if
just
you
go
look
back?
at sheet 21,
How many trees did you kill?
going back to 2009, they requested 102, 152, we gave them a flat amount of 95. 2010, there was the new ladder truck in there. They asked for $1,139,50. We gave them a flat amount of $909,000. 2011, they came in at 83.4, and we gave them 83.4. 2012, they requested 94,050. We gave them a flat amount of 90. 2013, they requested 144. Gave them a flat amount of 110. 2012. They requested 112,200. We gave them a flat amount of 100,000.
Mr. Finance Man, well, on the average, what would be 40, 50, 60, 70%?
Percent of what? What followed?
What they asked for and they got?
What
I
percentage?
think
Yeah,
you're
you
looking
ask
at
six,
about
they would
80.
ask for it
If
typically.
you're looking at 80% or better here.
Yeah, but they also requested.
Yeah, I'm just
What you wanted and what
curious.
you always
So,
wanted.
what would be like the average percent?
If you took the last 5 years in total, they got 78%.
So what's
But they're requesting-
78% of 47,
But
45?
they requested close to 3 to 4 times more than they usually do, outside of the year they have a new fire truck.
Correct.
Okay. So I'm just gonna, what would be that,
So let's just take the last 3 years, because that was kind of. Last 3 years, if you take it, they gave them 85%.
85%?
But we also narrowed down the list, so, you know, you're talking the highest they requested was 144 out of that 3-year period. So,
Well, the chief was adamant about getting that new truck, man.
Which new truck? The pickup truck?
Both of them.
Yeah, well, one's still sitting there with a temporary plate on it. Go back to the original statement, how much were you looking to cut that we don't include any more debt? 390?
395,000. Puts them at 8350.
Yeah.
Huh?
I said that puts them at 8350.
No, I'm not looking to say cut the whole 390,000 out of
I
there.
didn't know where you were going.
I'm just,
All I'd say, well,
No, I won't.
I'd say
Council's,
you set amount, what you would say they got. Sorry, they were looking for.
I think you have to give them, obviously, a flat amount. I think we've come to that conclusion.
100,000.
But I also think what you need to do is tell them which items you're eliminating from that number. You know what I mean? Like, if you wanna start planning, like, to me, the FCC radio system, unfortunately, we're not exactly sure when it's gonna happen, but it's gonna happen. So, yeah, I'm just using random numbers, just,
We're-
say you're giving them 200,000, you can say to them, you wanna guarantee 70 of that is put aside to start planning for this radio. I'm just using sporadic numbers, that's all,
Right.
so.
Can't, I mean, they can't get away from Scott tax, they gotta have them.
No, there are some things that are obvious necessities. And then we get down to,
Like, I mean, I guess one of the first things you could say, do you want them to have budget in this year chief's vehicles? You want them to get one plus start putting away for 1 in 5 years?
But they're also, so replace engine 3 in addition for station 3, that 116 at 70,000, so that's $230,000 they're looking to put away each year for 5 years, and then ultimately making the purchase. So even if you remove that out of 2015, then you're still left with 245,000 some change. And then you need to take away the FCC thing as far as putting away, they're still at 175 and change,
Correct.
which is still well above
Right.
the flat fees usually, or historically.
But then you have the 33.6 for chief's vehicles, you have the 11,000 that's part of the 5-year plan for the air compressor, you have the 7,000 that's part of the 5-year plan for the washer and dryer. So,
well, there may be some
You
things
know.
that have to be pushed forward in the 5-year plan. Start next year.
at some of these prices, I think you're gonna need a 20-year plan.
It's 156 million for the mega. Throw my chicken bucket.
I mean,
Oh, so you'll just volunteer to share it with the town?
So, I mean, that's some, you know,
I need a write-off, though.
That can't be done. That can't be done. I mean, wow.
I guess what I'm saying is if they're serious about $475,000 being allotted, how will they handle, not emotionally, but physically, if they're requesting 475 and we give them a flat 100,000? I mean,
well, I mean, obviously, we're gonna have to explain to them, we're trying to get a 5-year plan going.
right.
Well,
But this
Um,
is kind
We
of-
also weren't expecting to be
Right.
hit with almost $500,000 a year.
Right.
All right, well, I'm just gonna give you my 2 cents. There's been some problems that are coming down that we still haven't really addressed yet, the 2 biggest problems that we got. DPW garage, okay, that's still a big headache. The number 2, the sewer project for Galloping Hill Road. That's one of the things we put in for the county, 200,000 to help us for the study for that. Estimated costs as of today, if we were to do it, could be anywhere from 3 to 5 million. So you've got to consider where we're going to get that. When I came on council, it took us, what, 3 years, Ken, to get the money for Grand Avenue? So we were putting it in. So right now, we got to look at, to do this, but yet I also don't want to accrue any more debt than what we already have. So if you look at maybe like the fire department and giving them a flat 125,000, there's 350 that we cut. I'm just saying, right now, we got those 2 big headaches coming. We understand a 5-year plan, or one of the ideas was to be thrown out, was to possibly make one big unit, DPW, or, fire department unit, build it all at once, and sell the properties and get rent, and hopefully in 10 years, everything would be paid for. That was another option that was on the table. And then this way here, we could do it one shot, one deal, give them their compressor, give them their washer and dryer, give them their ice machine, do it, and then sit back and say, in 10 years, it will all be, eventually, paid off. To make it, that 5-year plan, because right now, you're looking at $70,000 for an addition. Who knows what that's gonna be a year, 2, 3 years from now?
Right.
The brick will cost you $1 today, in 2, 3 years, it'll cost you $3.
Well, just, I'm sorry,
Oh, go ahead, no.
just taking their 475, 350, if we take out items that have been taken out in the past, the air compressor for 11,000, the washer and dryer 7,000, the chief's vehicles of $33,600. The radio system upgrade of $70,000. The replacement of the engine of $160,000. The addition to the station for $70,000. That takes out $351,600. That puts them down to $123,750. And then I think you start at that point and come up with a flat amount from there.
So in other words, you're gonna give them 123,000, and they're gonna pick what they want. In other words,
Well,
you're gonna-
that's giving them everything else on the list, you know.
Yeah.
That's up to you guys. I mean,
Well, all right, what about this other possibility of building everything together? Is this
I'm,
something?
that was a proposal that was brought, you know, and it hasn't gone any further, you know, but, you know,
Well, maybe
talking,
that's something we should talk about
you know,
because.
talking right now, the status up there, it could go from $100, was it $100 a foot? To close to $300 a foot, because of, we still have contamination, we got soil to remove, and we have X amount of soil to remove just to put the DPW in there, but now if we put in the other, you know, bays, now we got more soil to remove, and it's a bigger cost, so somewhere along the line, you know, if we come up with the figures, it's gonna be phenomenal. And is that a one-shot deal that we're gonna put down forever? And
And sell off the other property?
That's,
If we sell off the
that
other
was on the
property.
table. I mean, that's one of the things that we can do.
we're still waiting for the numbers to
Yeah.
hit the feasibility of.
When
so
are we
that's-
looking at
The
getting numbers?
delays cost, the more you delay it.
Yeah, but when are we looking at getting numbers? I mean, we can't do anything till we have the numbers. Roughly?
I have to talk to the engineer, I know they were working with the architect to try and put some numbers
I mean,
together.
yeah, I agree we should definitely evaluate it, I'm sure Magda is, hey, we'll pay you more money, I'm sure they'll come up with drawings and give us the numbers, so we at least make a decision off of that.
Yeah, I would like to get the numbers and see if we can't, see how feasible that is. If it makes sense for us to put everything together, get it done in one shot, sell off or rent the other properties, whatever, and then we could have it built so that if we, you know, when we replace engine 3, we have the space, you know, which is, just doesn't exist now, to fit the engine in a bay. Then we'd have space to put, to store, you know, a chief's vehicle, you know, so on and so forth, whatever, instead of this, you know, here's a little bit here, here's a little bit there, and then in a few years, you know, this thing is a, not really a permanent structure, it's a shed, so it needs to be replaced, and we spend more money on that. You know, I'd rather see where we can bring in other money to balance it out and get something permanent in, that we're not looking at these little things every, not so little things.
It's not little.
No, exactly, not so little things every time that we're faced with the budget.
It's not
I mean, it would be wonderful if we could, I wish we could give them $500,000 every year, but we just don't have it. And our residents just don't have it for tax costs. We've got to figure out a way, another option to do this, to supply them with what they need, and at the same time, you know, not be hitting our residents with big tax increases. So let's get those figures and.
I think that bay too is because the fire truck was the way they're built now, so
Yes, yeah,
inevitably
it's not-
that
it's
whole
nobody's
garage is gonna
fault.
come down.
Yeah.
Right, but,
But
I mean, not to talk 10 years down the road, but then the next fire truck's gonna be replaced, that's gonna need another bay as well, and so on and so forth.
So let's
Well,
build,
I
let's
think
build it once.
one thing you need to look at too is the number of pieces of equipment for all departments. You know, if we're replacing certain things, you know, I understand ideally it's great if we can keep some of them, but you gotta look at the feasibility and the cost of it too.
You
If we
mean
can get
in the sense
some
of
trade-in, you know, value for it, and, you know, maybe we're not gonna have, this is how many, 10 engines, we're gonna have 8, you know, so.
Just a theoretical figure.
You might not need that bank to be built, you know, so. Just all things, everything's on the table
But at least,
for every
yeah, at
department.
least when we're building the things, we could perhaps, it could be designed in such a way that should we need extra, you know,
Right.
a storage area at the back that someday could be knocked out if they do get longer. Or, you know, something like that, so that we're looking toward the future and saving money. All right,
Like you said, Ken, a 20-year plan.
20-year plan. Okay. All right, anyone else have any comments on,
So do you want, I mean, if you want departments in, then I'd say let's not wait for the county, let's bring them in and do what we gotta do. But, you know, or are we just gonna dictate back? I mean, you know, just looking at some, like Public Works First Aid, they got 1 item each. Police Department's got 3 items.
we can probably just not go.
One item.
Realistically, you got 1 item for the truck, for the DPW, and we know that that's gonna save us money down the road. That's the reason why we switched it from 2016 to this year. So we know that's gonna save the road. First aid squad, $6,000. I wish everybody would come in with a budget like that. Okay? Police department, 45. You know,
Until we get,
I don't know. OEM, you know, the fabrication, if you're gonna do one, you might as well do them both, you know, the same time. You know, so maybe we can, again, look at this, and fire department, that seems to be like our biggest nut. That we can, if we cut the majority of that out, and maybe, you know, forego the, you know, the fabricated, you know, OEM garage, there's your, I'm just saying like 125,000, that would cut 350, plus the 70, plus 70, so I'm just saying, there's your 390,000, that we don't have to accrue any more debt. Building and grounds. Improvements to the building and grounds, I mean, maybe we can shave a little bit off there, not much. Library grounds, we've already discussed that, and the plans are gonna come out looking nice. The defibrillators, that goes to me personally, I don't think we need to, me personally, I wouldn't wanna cut that, because I believe in what we just said. The clerk's $5,000, coal we have to pay. Computer, 20 grand, I don't know. Maybe we can cut 5 out of that. You know, but I'm just saying, the library is 33. Engineering, we gotta keep the infrastructure going. So basically, we're looking to cut fire department, maybe the OEM, a little bit out of building and grounds to keep that, you know,
We can take out the children's specialty computers out of the library. I mean, not a lot of money, but it's something.
the engineering, Madison Avenue from Sheridan, West Pershing, you could take that 45,000 off.
and it's collapsed.
It
It
looks,
was collapsed.
no, they patched it, looked pretty good, and that's,
Well,
considering.
well, let's ask them.
Yeah.
We can ask.
Drove by it a couple times.
Can you check that? All right. Go back and have to do that, so depending on what you want, I mean, you know, we're up, what, about 425,000, if that's the case? We'll leave building and grounds alone and cut to 45.
So you're saying cut out the 75 from OEM,
Well, I'm just saying, I mean, we're looking to cut what, at least minimum 390, right?
395.
We're looking to cut 395. So let's start from 395 and work backwards. Or get to 395. And I think right now,
Well, if you take 350 out of fire and 75 out of OEM, you're at 425 already.
okay, so we gotta cut, so we could put 30,000 back.
You can take that, seriously, take that 3. All the specialty computers, we don't want them. Maybe we could put that,
So we're taking 3 out of the library?
we're taking 3 out of the library. Can we put back the 7 for the, on the 5-year plan for the washer and dryer for the turnout gear? Because they've been asking for so long. That would give us, Also, it would be a good 5-year plan. Show of good faith.
A little humor in it, too heavy in it. That bulletproof door this year.
There'll be
Yeah.
something else next year.
So if we take out the OEM, 75,000, take 343,000 out of fire, and 3,000 out of library, you're at 421, and possibly talk to Tom about the Madison Avenue, if the patch will hold.
Yeah.
There's a potential of 45. So that would put you at 466.
466.
If that doesn't have to be.
Yeah, what I'm
Let's
trying to
say
say is that,
421.
what I'm trying to say is, as much as we wanna recruit that, if you kept the OEM in, 466,
4,000 over.
huh?
Be 4,000 over.
We're still 4,000 over.
And then you can take 5,000 out of computer equipment. And you're 1,000 under.
That would be doing the two-bay, the OEM?
Yeah. How about, does that sound good?
Is it feasible, I mean, I guess logistics with the police department being right here, we would we want to consider that two-bay with the DPW, the fire, or it's just, I'm not trying to throw everything at
What I'm
that
trying,
project.
what I'm trying to sit back and say is that, again, the tentative numbers are coming in anywhere from $100 to $300 a foot.
Right,
So depending on how those two
Yeah.
bays are, I think we'd be
that's a good point.
saving a hell of a lot more money by putting the two bays up over here. Because they are looking into it, maybe just putting up, like pillars in a roof to put some of the
And there
equipment
is
on
a
instead
logic
of
of
pillars.
having it by the police department.
Huh?
Right. There is a logic of having it by the police department, right?
Yeah, here, plus I went by here today, and it's packed in there. They had to move everything out just to
Have a
go.
garage sale.
Yeah, just
We
tell
don't
my
have
garage
anyone.
sale June
We don't have
20th,
anyone
folks.
anyway.
We are.
I mean,
I like that second idea. That's just me. I'm only one, in which I don't really have to vote.
Well,
but-
don't forget too, you have the possibility of the grant from the county, which could be 100,000 off the sewer study, could be, what was that, 100?
But we just don't know.
We don't know.
Well, we don't know that yet, but that's why I'm just saying.
We did label that, we did put that as number one, out of the four.
So that would be 100,000 out of
The
there,
100, the 100,
possibly
100,000.
135 out of
Oh, I got you.
the road.
Yeah.
Charles Street, possibly, well, that would be a whole new project, so let's not have that one. Or possibly 110 out of the other, well, that's not in this either,
All right,
so
so
forget that.
really,
Two out of the four would be.
we have like a tentative plan right now, and then we gotta wait to see what we can come up with to make the final cuts.
Well, I
That's
guess,
the final?
I guess the way I'm hearing is if we could take out Madison, we could probably save the OEM garage.
Yeah,
Am I correct in that?
yeah.
It's all gonna depend.
Yeah, well. Well, you gotta understand, they have to have a special type of change.
I'll talk to Tom about Madison, see,
I was surprised, I mentioned it during the council meeting, gave him a lot of credit, because he did a fantastic job. I went by and I said, look, it's done.
I mean, we'll see, we might be lucky, it might last a year, it might last 10 years, I don't know. We can at least make the year, it's 45 we can take out this year.
All right.
Rich, you got any You're like a church mouse over there. I know it's all kind of new to you, but, you know, I mean, you got something to
You go
say,
home, your
put
milk,
your,
your brain's gonna melt.
you know, put in, you know, everybody, again, everybody put in something or say something, let's.
You two-
I think
Listen,
what you should do is, you know, if you're gonna cut 343 out of fire, I really think, and I'm not expecting an answer from you tonight, but I really think you need to go through that list and pick off exactly what you want definitely out of that list, okay? So, that I'm recommending that you do that.
That's gonna take us time to go over the list.
No, that's why I didn't mean right now, but I mean, when we reconvene, you know, make sure you review that and come back and say, okay, if we're cutting that down to 125 or 132 now, we're gonna give them the list of what we want on that list. And if it's something we're truly gonna reserve as part of the 5-year plan, I'm gonna tell you, I'm gonna budget that in a separate line so that will not be touched.
That's fine, I
Okay,
think that's a
so-
good idea.
But I wanna know from you, if we're saying they're getting 132,000, what is it for? Tell me what parts are for the 5-year plan that's gonna be set aside separately, and what part they can use to pick the equipment, and are we leaving all the vehicles, we leaving the rate, whatever you want on that list, you need to come to an agreement with.
The
Now,
roll off for the, they have to have it this year, I mean, if you.
yeah, that
Is
was,
that all that other
We
stuff?
discussed that at the budget,
Yes.
and we found that it's gonna save us money, that eventually it's gonna pay for itself. So that's the reason why we moved it from the 216 5-year plan to this year.
Well, with the stuff being up in the air with the DPW, maybe when that's done, then you get it and put it in the new spot, instead of having it in the old spot.
yeah, I think we really need to do that now. That's-
No, the truck is gonna go one way or the other. The building's gonna be built, and again, some of the things that they're talking about is, you know, pillars and a roof that at least it's out of the weather. But, we've already shown, and Mark has already shown that eventually, next year, we're gonna be saving a ton of money. Well, I mean, once the contract's expired, we'll be saving a lot of money.
And can we suggest or request that, Mark, and maybe you already thought of it, keeping
This is
track
partial.
of the savings?
Oh, yeah,
Just so we
definitely,
can speak to it a couple years from now?
definitely, definitely.
For his
Let me
benefit as well.
let me just give you a small scenario.
Is if we do get it-
When I took over traffic safety, okay, I was in charge of the vehicles. And Dennis at that time was the borough mechanic. And we used to send our tires out, to, you know, run them over to Goodyear and Linden, over here, over there, so forth and so on. So by the time you take a police officer out of the town to go over to Linden to get it done, so forth and so on, what they were charging us, Dennis came to me and he goes, look, for $2,100, I can buy my own tire machine and a wheel balancer. Within a year and a half, it wouldn't pay for itself. Now we're not sending an officer and a car out of town. He was doing everything right there. Cars would come in, boom, change the tires, balance them, and out the door they would go. That saved
Absolutely.
money. We're doing it ourselves. So as the time went on, it was the little things. When Mark, our new borough mechanic, came on, he says, look, if you get me this air conditioning unit, instead of us sending it to the garage and paying $105 an hour labor, Mark is doing it, well, it costs like $1,400 for the machine. It paid for itself 10 times over. And he came to us and he's like, we used to send all our cars, I had a few transmissions go when I was driving. Mark goes, get me a transmission jack. Bingo, we got me a transmission jack, and he's doing it in-house now. So it's the little things that save us a ton of money. And he, instead of Dennis, he always bought the oil in the quart cans. Well, Mark bought the 55-gallon drums, and he cranks it, and it saved us 2/3. So it's the little things. So this is what, you know, that we, with the roll-off, is gonna, you know, eventually it's gonna save us. And like you said, now, we can sit back and say, and he can show you the purchase orders, not the purchase orders, the bills that'll come in. So I think that this is gonna be a great savings.
Yeah, no, and I
And
just want the numbers
we
for
can
me,
use
but
it
also for everybody.
like we wanted to do, because this year, as you know, Joe and Eugene got the calls that they wanted like $1,500 for a roll-off for 8 hours to move the snow. Well, we don't need to pay $1,500. It's ours. We can do what we want with it,
Yeah.
when we want with it, you know? So.
Anyone else have anything they want to bring up right now? Okay, then I think that the best thing to do is for everybody to do their homework, take your homework home, and let's go over this, and we'll talk about it at the next meeting, which we have to set a date for.
I don't know if you want to hold off on setting it up until we find out what grant we're getting, if we're getting any, and then just do it all at
That
once.
probably makes sense.
Hopefully
Do
make
your
that the
homework.
last capital meeting.
Do
and
your
hammer
homework.
The whole thing out.
We can do our homework, you know,
Okay.
and
All right.
we can keep brainstorming, you know, along the way.
Okay, all right, so before we adjourn, we need a public portion.
And I got one or two little minor things after it's all done.
Oh, okay. Okay, may I hear a motion to open for the public portion?
I make a motion, we open the public portion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone who would like to speak, please come forward.
Seeing no one,
Jacob McGarrett, 612 Sheraton Avenue, Roselle Park. Good evening. This is for Mayor Hocus. Some years ago, they were doing some monitoring by Dunkin' Donuts where the contamination was going up toward East Grant Avenue, West Grant Avenue.
Yeah.
Who was paying for that?
I don't remember.
I'm not following, I don't know. What kind of contamination, I mean,
If there was a
talking
fire,
in the sewer line, I don't know.
I don't know what the heck it was, but
I think it had to do with the old Exxon station that was there. Wow. I'm not gonna lie to you, you got me on this one. I do know of something that was done, but I'll try to do some research.
all right. Being that this was, you guys had a potential litigation, shouldn't the borough attorney have been here?
Not yet. There's no agreement, there's no agreement that it's been come up with either way.
I'd like permission from the council. Can you guys make a decision on this?
On what?
Yellow ribbons, I want to put it on borough
Can't
property.
now.
Yes, you can.
Oh, can we?
Well, actually, this is the budget, but
Well, it's part of the public portion.
I don't have, anybody got a problem with Jake putting up yellow ribbons for Memorial Day?
Not at all.
Nobody? You got permission.
There you go, thank you. Take 10% off capital expenses. Are we really getting the best prices on these items that that are being purchased?
We're trying our best.
The other ones are going out for bid, on the
When
state
we go-
contracts
when we
and
go
for
out-
bid.
When we go out for bid, it's sealed bids, and those are the prices at the time. 5 years from now, it could be higher, it could be lower.
All right, and I spoke to Mayor Hokuson. The county has mutual aid for roads, the streets. Who does the looking into that?
If you recall, a few years ago, they did a little portion of Chestnut Street between Westfield and Charles,
Yeah.
and they had to come back and redo it, so.
No, Westfield and Williams. We are looking into it. I will be making phone calls.
You can save $55,000.
Well, we still gotta pay for time and material. It'd be a T&M job.
How would I say $55,000?
Well, it's gonna cost $55,000 to get rid of the crosswalks, you know? that we spent $100,000 for. That's $155,000 fiasco. Didn't work out. Library, they got a $50,000 surplus. Is Tom Scafaro doing any work for the county?
I don't
Our
know,
engineer?
I don't know.
That's the
The
county.
county,
What?
Have to ask the county,
I
huh?
have to ask the county.
Oh. And Acker Park, are we getting grant money for Acker Park and Aldine?
Acker
Aldi
Park is
Park.
done, it's
Aldi.
Aldi
Acker's-
Park.
Acker's done.
Acker, there's
Aldine.
no money going into Acker Park.
No, Aldine.
How much
Aldine.
for Aldine?
Aldine, phase 4 in this capital is 175,000 and just under 60,000 in a grant, which is included in that number.
Crane Ridge, did they ever do any work for us?
Who?
Crane Ridge. Somebody, did they check sewers, et cetera?
It's not ringing a bell.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Rivera.
That's all, I'll try. So here's the 150 Berwyn Street. Not that it means much, and I don't say it often, but I like to commend this governing body for actually considering consolidating the fire department. You have 3 fire departments in one square mile of town, and I think that's an excellent thing to pursue. But I guess my question would be, in line with this 5-year outlook, how would something like that, because I guess you've got to sell the property, or do something with the property, and then,
You would have, well,
like, right, what's the
I don't
general
hate to
process?
speak out,
Yeah.
but you would have to build the new before you can sell the old.
Right. In other words, there was a proposal that was drawn up, okay, just facts and figures that was presented to us, or to some of us, to the committee, that basically, if you were to sell, like the Phase 2 firehouse and the first aid squad, projected income would go for like about $1.2 million. So that $1.2 million would go towards the new building. And then, of course, we would have to rezone it. That Sauk Gersten Heating and Oil Company wanted to do something small. They got the bays there, so forth and so on. So that was that. And then one of the things that we had to look at with the engineer was the turning radius is, well, like I say, Central Hose Company.
Right.
But Central Hose Company right now, the property would be worth about $100,000. So something like that leaves Central Hose where it is because of the turning radius, so forth and so on.
That's the one on Chestnut.
Chestnut
Yes.
and Lincoln. Right, Lorraine, that would be sold, and everything would be moved up to the new complex, so you would have the fire department on that end, the DPW over on this end, and then you would have, one building, one building, and then just sit back and say, look, they need this, a one-shot deal. Put the generator in, put the compressor in, put the ice machine in, put everything in that it's done. That's my philosophy, because I've seen in the past, if you look at the youth center, it started out like $1.2 million, and we got it down to like 900,000, and you see the problems that we're having, because when you start cutting and you start doing this, it's just gonna cost you more in the long run. My philosophy is, if I'm gonna do it, I wanna do it right, the first time. So, and you figure with the projected selling of the properties and the income coming in through taxes, hopefully in like 10 years.
Because it would become taxable property.
Oh, yeah, definitely. It
Absolutely.
would definitely be taxable property. So, being with that, so if you got 25,000 a year, so within 10, 15 years, it eventually would pay for itself.
Right.
That we're not constantly spending 600,000, you know, so forth and so on, that we would build it, you know. But the other factor is, that's involved, is the contamination in the soil. Right now, the studies are coming back that the soil is somewhat contaminated, but it's not, I'm trying to think of the word.
It's not,
It's
let me
it's
just
called
take a step back.
historical fill.
It's not
There it is!
It's not considered contaminated.
It's
not.
historical filth.
It's not
Historical
buildable.
fill.
Right, thank you.
Can't
I
build
couldn't think
on
of
it.
It's the, I guess the weight and
The
Right.
weight of the building, which you would wind up building it, and over time it would just sink because.
If you
would
go
have to
back
remove the
years
old
ago.
and put
So this
in-
one thing, I don't want to interrupt, but the centralized fire DPW, would the first aid be included in that as well?
Yes.
So that would be at this location that the DPW is, it was proposed to be before. Okay, thank you, I'm sorry.
We're making,
No,
we're trying to find out from the architect and the engineers, is it possible to be that big as one building, or would it have to be two separate buildings? The turn radius, and obviously the bottom line is what the cost is,
Right.
right.
you know, so.
And the
There's no
projected
guarantees
costs
of
are coming
anything,
from
you know, so.
$100 to $300 a foot.
Then I guess,
Historical, thank you. Thank you.
Historical
That
fill
was-
was back in the 40s.
right, so I guess first there'll be this proposal will be reviewed, right, and then, oh, and I don't mean to be a downer or anything like that.
No, I
A
can't
Keith
picture
Downer.
that.
I want to be a Keith Downer. Because I know my friend's gonna ask, will this have to go for a referendum? I don't understand how referendums work. Is there a requirement for a referendum for something like this?
No,
Right?
no,
So it wouldn't have to.
no.
It would be like any other, so this would be a capital project as well, correct?
Oh, definitely.
Huge.
There's just no doubt about it.
What would happen, if
Right.
this came to fruition,
If.
we
I think it's
would,
great that you're discussing it.
we would have to issue the debt
It's the first
now
council I've ever heard
to be able to
say
build it. Then when you go in the future and sell the property, that property will go into the account we have of sale of municipal assets. Then we can take that money and over the time, pay off the
that. Oh,
debt.
pay off the debt service.
Correct.
Now, what department would this fall under?
What do you
Like, because the capital, we have police, DPW, buildings and grounds.
mean? Buildings and
It would be
grounds.
buildings and grounds. I really do want to thank you. I think that's it's going to be somewhat maybe unpopular, and I hope it doesn't get political, but it's an important thing to, no, it's an important, I think it's an important thing to ask and an important thing to make a decision. And
First of all,
you're the
it's
first council
only,
I've ever
it's
heard
only a
to do that.
proposal, there's nothing.
Right,
It's
but
still very early.
Right, but
It's still very early.
Right, and again, but it's a proposal. It's never
Right.
been done before. I think
Right.
that's very.
Now, if you go back one, I thank you, I couldn't think of that
Historical,
word,
I'm gonna use it all the
historical
time
landfill. If you go back to when the squad built their addition on back, I think, in the 60s
I
or
have no idea.
70s, if you look at the corner of the building sagged and it cracked. And they had to bring the developer and sue him because there was no, and it was due because of historical fill. The ground just couldn't handle it in the building. The far corner on the right-hand side, the whole building went this way, and you'll see the crack in the wall.
And then I guess my last section, my last question or comment is, Kelly Culver's part is right in between those.
It would
So
stay.
Phil, yeah.
No,
the
okay.
blanks. Okay, thank you.
That would stay. Because actually, there's a developer looking at the property. He's not gonna build apartments around the Kelly Crawford Park. So,
Such as life.
Really?
yeah, no, yeah.
That would be nice, you have a
Anybody
park
else?
too.
Yeah, well,
Well, whatever. All right,
Anyone else?
Anyone else who would like to speak?
I don't know if we're all coming up to this one spot or not.
Yes, we need your name and address.
Keith Hyman, 300 East Westwood Avenue, obviously Roselle Park. Pretty much, I think that the computer thing at the idea at the library should be revisited because I think $10,000 for licensing is a lot when it could have been done with donated Microsoft software through that tech soup dog,
Let's look at that then also.
and leasing the computers. Cause like, if you lease the computers, you could probably put in operating budget because it's a operating expense, and you're not going into capital.
If you can bring us or bring me as the liaison any paperwork on that.
Yeah, like leasing, like,
Yeah, let's look at it and see if that's a
cause
viable
leasing
way to
means
save
like
money.
after 3 or 5 years, you're getting new computers for everything. And
Well, let's look at the options.
cause like there's no, like it seems like non-technical, no offense, don't take offense to it. It's like non-technical people are
I'm not
deciding,
taking offense,
I don't know if Ken will take offense or
but let's,
whatever.
all right.
but
Are you trying to tell me I don't know my widgets?
If you can bring us the, some paperwork that we can look over, that would be great, because, if we can save money, we can save money.
Cause it's non-technical people going to a company and there's
And we may,
a bridge in Brooklyn that,
yes, I get it.
How much?
so
All right,
I just think that's a lot of money,
well, we may be able to go in a different direction.
Definitely.
All right, great,
so.
wonderful, thank you. I always want to save money. Okay, anyone else? Oh, seeing no one?
Seeing no one, I make a motion we close the public portion.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
All right, before we leave, can I bring up a couple, one or two minor things?
For open or closed?
Open.
Oh, all right.
I met with the parents for the upcoming art festival for September, for the car show. They want to know if they originally scheduled till 7, they want to extend it till about 9, 9:30. So what are they gonna do?
Outside,
Well, what outside?
it's gonna be dark.
I know that, but they got lights and everything else, so they just want to,
They've got lights?
we got lights.
All right. No, I mean, no, I'm serious.
Yeah, we got lights, we got the lights, we got the portable
For
lights.
For what reason, for what purpose?
They just feel that it's going to be an ongoing thing, instead of having it from 5 to 7, they want to extend it to like 9. So,
Go crazy.
okay.
They can go, but if
Okay,
they don't have much.
they want to, they're gonna advertise for a chalk artist, and they want there to be any problem with them drawing a mural on the street. It's chalk, it's
I
gonna
think
come
that would be
off.
fun.
Okay, I'm
Can they
just,
do it in the crosswalks?
And the crosswalks, yeah.
yeah,
Yeah, so then when the one.
nice
one
crosswalk.
of
Make it
those-
look like brick.
One of those that makes it look, one of those that makes it look like
There
it
you
goes
go,
way
there you go.
down.
You
Yeah.
save
All right.
that money, that's happened.
That was it. That was it.
I also, I wanted to bring up on that, it seems to me that the questions, a question I thought would have been put to rest, but seems to be working its way back up, the idea of putting the Union County stage on the library grounds, and I want to express my absolute
it's-
opposition to that.
The way it
I think
was,
it's
the
gonna
way it was
happen.
presented is depending on what the status of the construction is.
Yeah, well, I'm
If
hoping
there's no
by
sprinkler
September-
system, if there's no sprinkler systems in, and because by the time you go out to bid and everything, if there's no work done on the library lawns at the time of the show, they'll put it up
When
on
are we gonna
When
go
is-
out to
when is
bid
the
on the
show?
sprinklers?
September
When are
12th.
we going out to bid
September
on the
12th?
sprinklers? 'Cause
Whatever the car
You
show
can have the
is.
stage there.
What about
Huh?
that?
well, how
You
long,
can have the stage there.
how long
I
is it
mean,
gonna take us to get the sprinklers in?
well, it's gonna depend on the county.
Oh, that's still a county?
No, it depends on when we,
Well, we need the design first.
We need
so
the design,
Then we
that's
know where
what we
sprinklers
come
are gonna
in.
go. Once we get that, then the next step is, we need to
All right.
find out what grants we get from the county to do the rest of this year's money.
if the
to
work
help the
is
library.
being started, it will go on the street. If there's no work done at the time of the show, we'll get it up out of the street.
I know that's a big heavy thing, I really don't wanna see any damage to the
No, I'm
library.
just, no, if there's no work being done,
Where was it?
There will
last
be
year?
possible
we never had
litigation,
it. No, there's no
right
work.
here.
If
Why don't
there's
you
no
just
work
put
to
this-
be done, the
Why don't you
work's
just
gonna
put the
get
stage
dug
in
up
the
anyway.
parking lot?
Huh?
Why can't the stage just go in the parking lot?
It's too big.
See where that big
No,
giant
it's not.
stump is?
Yeah,
See where that
it's too
big
big.
stump is in the middle of the lawn over there? There's a big tree stump there.
Yeah,
Put it on top of that.
no, it's coming out.
Just balance
It's
it,
coming out.
just balance it.
If there's no work that is being done by the time the car show is done, it'll go there. If there's work being done, it will go on Clay Avenue.
But
So,
then you gotta close that street.
yeah, for the couple hours that it was there.
Just saying that.
Well, let's see where we're at that time. I
Yeah.
am hoping that we will
We'll
have
put
the
the hazards
sprinklers
on.
in.
If the
Before
sprinklers are in,
September.
you got no problem. If there's no work being done,
Shovel in the ground, we'll go down with the shovel.
so,
Once the sprinklers
that's
in.
all I got. Anybody
Now on
else?
progress.
Okay.
All right, anyone else have anything anything, maybe even about the budget? Anything we got? Okay. Well, seeing no, I move that, would somebody like to make a motion to close the budget session?
I make a motion, we close the budget session, meeting, hearing.
Whole thing.
Second.
All those in favor?
All opposed?